The wish-fulfilling gem is a TetraSeed modulation procedure with a specific structure and a specific effect. In the case of the wish-fulfilling gem, the effect is to create an almost dreamlike experience of a condition or situation that you'd like to have happen, followed by a process that completely reverses and erases it. Now, the reason for the two directions is to get facility in both, let's call it synthesizing or creating or causing particular chosen experiences, and the ability to dissolve those particular chosen experiences. It's very helpful, especially when experimenting in the field of life, to be able to enter into an experience and equally be able to dissolve it so that you can experience it without fear of entrapment in it. And entrapment is the primary universal plight of all human beings. It's not so much that people have experiences of one kind or another, but that we get stuck in them and they become chronic, fixated interferences that end up distorting or interfering with the development of our unique self potentials. And there is a developmental trend of each of us, and that trend is called our entelechy. Entelechy is a term that Jean Houston has used in her mystery school teaching, and I'm giving a certain, let's say, useful interpretation to it, which I feel is actually in complete accord with her usage of the term, but I wouldn't make that altogether assumption. Let's just say that what I'm proposing as a way of looking at entelechy, which is our developmental trend individual to each of us, is a process that, as it occurs, involves changes or modulations of the four faculties that together we call the TetraSeed. That is to say, our memory over time changes, our intentions change from moment to moment, what we have our attention on changes from moment to moment, and what we imagine, that is, our expectations and our immediate instant interpretation of experiences as they are happening, which are primarily what we imagine them to be, that process of ongoing development, moment to moment, is shaped largely by memory in most people, particularly to the degree that they are entangled in and stuck in memory patterns. And those memory patterns direct attention and intention so that we are largely controlled or influenced by the accumulation of memory patterns from previous experience. And our entelechy is an attractive tendency or trend of our development, of which we have some recognition based on our self-knowledge of the directions we're attracted to in life, and much of which is below the horizon of what we can see in terms of our destiny of development. En means within or inherent in. Tele means over a distance. And chy, refers to a process of something occurring, or the nature of something. And entelechy then is the process of being drawn across the distance of our personal evolution. So this is a long way around exploring and explaining entelechy, which is the developmental continuation of our personal evolution. That means our learning, our growth of our existing patterns, and our development of new functional and behavioral patterns and perceptual experiences. So that's what I mean by entelechy. So if we're using entelechy as our example here, our item for a wish-fulfilling gem procedure, we will accomplish more than one thing at a time. You'll both have gotten some experience of doing the wish-fulfilling gem, and will have opened the way and streamlined our own development along the lines of our personal entelechy. Now, one more thing before we do the procedure. It's not necessary to know in advance what your entelechy is, or even to have a feel for it. It'll be a very vague feel, I expect at best, and certainly partial. Not to worry, the process itself will make your own entelechy increasingly vivid to you. So here we go. TetraSeed modulation. Now we will be proceeding in 3 steps of integration and organization. And you'll hear that as I take you through this. The first step is merely to use the 4 faculties of the TetraSeed individually about the item entelechy. No, this is not going to be terribly difficult. It's not going to be mentally strenuous. You're not going to have to think about things. What you will need to do is intend the experience at each step. That means you just kind of lean into the instructed steps for them to actually happen in you. Now, there will be a statement of a step and then silence in between steps. And during that silence, you may either pause playback of this recording and do the step and then restart, or you may simply get done what you can during that period of silence and allow yourself to move to the next step. And both are good, and they are different approaches. The first approach will enable you to go to a deeper depth. The second one will teach you a degree of faith, because it will show you that even if you don't seem to get it 100%, you still get a beneficial effect, and that the beneficial effect you get is substantial. It is significant. Okay, so here we go. Attend to your entelechy. Remember your entelechy. Attend to remembering your entelechy. Remember attending to remembering about your entelechy. Imagine your entelechy. Remember imagining your entelechy. Imagine remembering imagining your entelechy. Attend to your entelechy. Imagine attending to your entelechy. Attend to imagining attending to your entelechy. Imagine your entelechy. Attend to imagining your entelechy. Imagine attending to imagining your entelechy. Remember your entelechy. Imagine remembering your entelechy. Remember, imagining, remembering your Entelechy. Attend to your Entelechy. Remember attending to your Entelechy. Attend to remembering, attending to your Entelechy. Intend your Entelechy. Attend to intending your Entelechy. Intend attending to intending your Entelechy. Imagine your Entelechy. Intend imagining your Entelechy. Imagine intending imagining your Entelechy. Remember Entelechy. Imagine remembering your Entelechy. Remember imagining remembering your Entelechy. Intend your Entelechy. Remember intending your Entelechy. Intend remembering intending your Entelechy. Remember your Entelechy. Intend remembering your Entelechy. Remember intending remembering your Entelechy. Imagine your Entelechy. Remember imagining your Entelechy. Imagine remembering imagining your Entelechy. Intend Entelechy. Imagine intending your Entelechy. Intend imagining intending your Entelechy. Attend to your Entelechy. Intend attending to your Entelechy. Attend to intending attending to your Entelechy. Okay, that completes the extended or evolved wish-fulfilling gem pattern for Entelechy. You may have experienced, and I expect you will have experienced, two things: an encounter with your density around or about Entelechy that's in the way of your getting a sense of your Entelechy or of embodying it consciously, the obstructions. The other is an increasing clarity of the sense or feel or attraction of Entelechy in your own case. To the degree that you had density and obstruction to that is the degree to which a further repetition of this particular wish-fulfilling gem procedure would be beneficial for you. So you have here experienced to some degree your entelechy and the wish-fulfilling gem procedure. Now, what may seem particularly bizarre to you is that these $100 terms have begun to make sense to you. That alone, in a certain sense, might seem bizarrely humorous to you. We're using terms like entelechy, TetraSeed, modulation procedure, which sounds like complete Martian. In any case, you have been given an experience of it, and in further working with this recording, you'll be able to learn and understand the sequence of steps, and to remember, that is to say, learn the sequence of steps of the wish-fulfilling gem in its extended form. So that you may then, and by that I mean the wish-fulfilling gem, you may apply that to other items in your life as you see fit. The effects you're getting from this particular one will be particularly interesting and pronounced because we're working kind of with a fundamental evolutionary trend, namely entelechy, which is closely associated with eros. Eros, as in erotic, which is to say the attraction of experience and attraction of new experience in particular, because if you're talking about memory, the word attraction, yeah, you can be attracted by a certain memory, but it has a different feel to being attracted to something new, which is the trend of entelechy. Entelechy both attracts the new and stores the new experience traces in memory. So if you have a sufficiently intense experience of eros, a sufficiently intense and clear experience of entelechy, that goes into memory. It comes from eros and origination, which is tied also with imagination, origination, imagination, emergence, imagination, entelechy, emergence. You see how they're all pretty much in the same direction, the same domain. And in vivifying that, using the TetraSeed modulation we call the wish-fulfilling gem, well, let's just say that some very, very interesting activating and potentiating effects in terms of intensification of ongoing personal growth may have occurred for you, and they will be obvious to you immediately as a shift in consciousness. That is, you feel shifted, and you continue to feel shifted. You don't tend to revert. That you will observe for yourself in your own case. Although you may have a brief resurgence of old tendencies, I call it burn off. It's the residual traces, and they surface and they go away by themselves in a short order, but you may pass through those. That's just to let you know. Although I have not seen much in the way of that with the wish-fulfilling gem. I've seen it much more with the gold key release. So I'm going to leave that at that here. You've got a decent background experience and introduction, and the rest is, as we say, up to you.